Welcome to Splintered Spirits, a podcast hosted by me, Gary, and my nephew Johnny, where I follow Johnny as he tries to prove his theory that ghosts are the fractured memories of the living. We have a jam-packed episode for you today, over twice as long as the others. In part 3 with Cathy Nadal, our friend, author, psychic, and medium, Cathy goes with Johnny to his fireplace room where we get some big spirit energy. Edward, the ghost we love to hate, has some nasty things to say as usual, and the vibes are so intense an object flies off the wall. Cathy, who can be found on Instagram at CatWitchNYC, also brings us one step closer to figuring out what is going on, not only with the spirits, but with Johnny as well. Again, we have a lot in this episode, so let's not waste any more time listening to me ramble on and dive into the conversation.
I'm in a beach chair.
Yeah. Oh, nothing but the best for you, Cathy.
Hey, that's an expensive high-class beach chair, mind you.
Hey, top shelf.
Top shelf beach chair.
I bet you didn't realize.
It's gotta fit my fat ass. So
I bet you didn't realize what you were in for, Cathy. We got nothing but the best top quality furniture in our haunted basements.
I can't believe it though. When we got in here, we were just setting up, and I said, "So what happened when you were sleeping?" I said that somebody touched you when you were sleeping. He said, "No, that happened here."
So do you remember at the?
Yes.
I didn't bring it up at the office because I wanted to wait till we were here. Okay. When she said, "Hey, you were sleeping and somebody, tapped you on your shoulder, and woke you up," that was here.
Whatever you got going on, I do feel like you woke up when you were sleeping one night, and you felt like someone touched you, and I feel like they touched your shoulder like a tap, and I feel like there's an awakeness, but I feel like you doubted yourself. But I do feel like you think that you got touched where you live, in your house, in your bed, and you feel like, did that really happen?
It was, how I do the shots for coins, and you send me a certain amount of money on live and I take a shot. That night, I was reaching my limit. I might have had like 32, 33 shots.
See, it's all for science, by the way.
Yeah. I lined up a couple more shots, took them, ended up passing out, and something woke me up here. I woke up saying, "Ooh, wait," like something like tapped me, and I'm like, "Ooh, wait,"
Wow.
Yeah. So it's the ooh wee moment, and that's what you were referring to.
Wow.
And then when we came down here, she said it. She was like, "This is where it happened," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Also, that story, she felt it in your office, but it happened in this location.
But it happened in this location.
All right, so Cathy, when you're
so I don't need to be at a place because it's all connected to him. So he's the connection.
Okay.
So these people could be on Buckout Road or wherever they are. They might stay over there, but I'm able to communicate with them because of him. So if you took him out of the road, out of the room, they may not show up.
All right. So then what, if anything, are you feeling anything just being in this place?
Well, yeah, I was gaining that it would be a cold place. So energetically, I was convinced that this place is cold. And it's not the temperature of the room. It's the energy associated with the room.
Oh, I would get up and get the out.
But Gary, I was in Iraq. I'm not afraid of anything.
There you go.
You guys are nuts.
Oh, that's it. Fear.
I mean, okay,
it's the
Johnny.
Worst catalyst.
All right, so now, Johnny, just like Johnny, do you ever feel anything? Like, are you feeling
about that?
Yeah.
So I feel the way I describe it is atmospheric. I my environment around me. I'll feel like heaviness, as in like the whole area will get heavy on me. And the way I describe it, and I describe it in my lives, is the vat of jello, as funny as it sounds. I feel like in this room, like I'm in a vat of jello. And if there's any sort of disturbances, think of how you would feel if you were in the middle of a jello and something flicked the outside of it. You'd feel it. And that's what I feel,
So I think what he's bringing up is he feels vibrations.
No.
Yeah, he's feeling vibrations. So like we were walking down the driveway and he says, I'm not a psychic. I don't have any feeling of this. Like he doesn't believe that he has psychic ability. I believe everyone has a certain level of psychic ability. He may not be acknowledging that he has psychic ability, but I believe he does. He may be trying to block it, but now he's forced to confront it. And that's why I feel he has this past life that he's been on a battlefield. Everything is confronting. He's in conflict all the time with the ghosts or the past life combined.
That's the logical person in me. Does not want to admit
But
that.
this room to me though, and it has nothing to do with the chair I'm sitting in, it feels very limited. The ceiling feels like it's coming down on me, and it's not.
You want to switch? Would you be more
No,
comfortable
it
with this
doesn't
one?
matter. It's just like I feel like, I mean, we could stand up and you could see there's plenty of room to stand up in this room, but in in me, it feels like um, it's squeezing us down. So Johnny feels very Jello like he feels kind of cushiony in this. I feel more compression. I feel like the ceiling is coming down on us, kind of in a squeezing manner.
Well, with the whole Jello thing, that's everywhere. As far as here,
Yeah.
no, here I feel, and my followers can attest to this. Here I feel compressed, closed in. I don't want to be here. I stopped streaming down here for a multitude of reasons. That being one of them.
Yeah, the ceiling feels like it's coming down on us.
This place, just to give you, I'm not going to give you a full backstory. But
Yeah, don't give me.
I'm not going to give you anything. But as far as like, because what I do and whatnot, and I have a whole community that I built on TikTok, this place almost destroyed that community.
We've talked about this 100 times here already, where Johnny would keep a fixed rig camera in this room, and apparently his audience would go absolutely bananas.
Yeah, so maybe we could start doing what we can do here.
Yeah, so yeah, you want to start
Are we doing the same thing?
the same thing. What do you feel? What do you everything? Yeah.
Well, I just keep seeing a symbol that I don't like. I see a symbol for a snake or a serpent, and that means like trickery or people that are doing tricks. And it actually feels a little bit like maybe it's affected current people that live in the building. Like maybe people complain about another neighbor or neighbors are fighting or something. But it does feel very serpent like, where someone will look very friendly or look like they're like sitting there, like, oh, that snake is dead. But yet the tongue comes out and bites you. So there's something very much snake like about that. There's also like a very weird reference that I get, like someone either lived in the building that was part of like the Lions Club or some kind of an organization like the Lions Club or whatever. But there's some kind of a reference to like someone holding a high position or being part of a secret club or like a club in some way. I don't know why, but I feel a little bomb shelter like. But it does feel like I'm in a bomb shelter or there's some kind of a reference. So either someone went to war in this building or someone came home from war or whatever. But I feel a little like I want to bring up a bomb shelter reference. Someone's Joseph or Josephine, but I keep wanting to bring up this JOS, like Joseph, Josephine. I don't know if it's one of the ghosts or anything, but I just feel like I want to mention that name. And yeah, that secret club. I don't know. It's like I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's like a Masonic temple kind of relation. It's some kind of a secret club or something, or somebody's connected to a secret club. Does any of this make sense to you?
All of it. All of it.
And it's interesting.
The secret club thing is wild. I'll get into that because that's where it gets
So
insane.
it's kind of interesting to me because I have to very precisely say that I see like George Washington on a dollar bill. So there's a reference in this room that either you put money out or you thought that somebody took money, but there's a theft of money in this room. And I'm seeing like a George Washington on the dollar bill. So it actually feels like it's a dollar bill, kind of a losing money reference. And I don't know if you've talked to the guy named Sam, but there's a Sam or a Samuel.
There is a Samuel.
Yeah,
Yes, there is.
there's a connection there.
A big connection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's weird though, because I'm standing here like facing the camera. They're telling me to turn around. So something's behind me.
Yeah.
No, it's
How does Samuel make you feel?
Samuel. I don't like him. He's the one that's he's telling me there's something in the other room. Someone would you understand teasing you or something, but they're saying like you should give the guy a tie, like a long straight tie. So whatever Samuel's been involved in, he has to make some comments like being a proper dressed man or something. He's kind of mocking you, like, why don't you put a tie on or something? But you have something to do with this room that's next to where we're standing.
Oh, that room completely was a huge part of my life at one point.
Well, he's talking about you being in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about you working on wood. And he's showing me like you have a nail and a hammer. You made stuff or you were making furniture or something in that room. But he said he was watching you working on things with tools and hammering and nails and whatever. But he was watching you do all that work in that other room. And he said, you never took a break. You should have had a meal. You forget about eating when you're in this room or something, because he says you didn't get a break. There's another name like Frank or Franklin or some kind of a Frank name, and I don't know why that's coming up. And whatever the water is, it has something to do with this building. But they also said one of them is connected to a river, so they said throw him in the river. Somebody's like a murderer. Somebody threw someone in the river, or someone got rid of somebody and threw them in the river. It's like tossing a body. So I don't know if it's one of those guys. They're here for you. You're the connector. Honestly, if somebody else was here, they may not even see anyone or talk to anybody. That's what I get. You're the connector. I think this goes back to your days on the train. I think that they found you as an attachment going back to the days on the train. And there's some guy that wears a Navy hat. Some guy was like wearing a Navy hat. Navy hats are very different. And this one looks very much like it's not a sailor hat, but it's a Navy hat. I'd have to draw a picture of it, but it's a dark blue hat. And it's a Navy hat. There's also a little bit of comments on you were here. I don't know. What is this? They're saying you were here on New Year's Eve, and they said there's a significant thing about you being in this room on New Year's Eve. They know it was New Year's Eve. They're showing me like a New Year's Eve hat that says Happy New Year on it, and they want to bring it up. Do you understand that?
I do understand.
Yeah, and they said they were here during that.
That was the let's just say the turning of the tide, if you will.
They're talking about something that happened outside the building. I have to justify this. It was snowing. There was a lot of snow, and there was a problem on the property with two neighbors or two tenants, and it had something to do with clearing of the snow. And there was a big fight. And is that correct? They want to.
That was actually a very significant thing that happened here while I was here as super. So
they want to bring that up though, because that goes back to the serpent symbol.
Yep, 100%.
That's right. These people have this. Yeah.
What is it? What? Tell me.
I was wondering if you were going to pick up on that.
What is it?
That's actually quite wild.
What is it, John? Tell the story. Can you?
So, should I get into it now? Because if I'm going to get into it, I'm going to get into it.
Well,
Or
do you want me to keep going?
Yeah,
Because
keep
once
going.
I stop, then I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep going. Keep going.
There's something about, I don't know if I could say this. I'm just going to say
No,
it.
say it, please.
There's a triangle in this building. So it's you and two other people. So what is the triangle? It's you against these two people. There's like, I keep seeing a triangle. There's
Yeah.
three people in the triangle.
Yeah, they're not alive, but yeah, there is. You could call it a triangle. You could call it an opposition, if you will.
Did you also have some kind of a connection to someone being from Scotland or Scottish?
Wow. What? What? Wow. Keep going. It's not a connection with me. It's a connection with this place.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I have to go back in time, but there's someone that was like an originator here, and they have big feet or they make boom, boom, boom when they walk. And
pompous, like, huh?
Big feet, boom, 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 and it's very much like the people are afraid of that person.
Yes, they are.
And it's like someone who's walking around holding like a hand grenade, threatening people, like, I'll just pull the pin any chance I get. Like,
It sounds like.
And it's very much like that. And it's interesting because there's like a real, there's a.
Can you picture his face?
Well, I have to tell you what I see.
Yeah.
He has a real life quality to him. So he was a real person at one time.
Oh, yeah.
And he gives me this feeling that he didn't realize what he was doing. He thought he was plugging holes. He was plugging holes. He was making fixes. So instead of fixing it the right way, he would just plug the hole. He didn't do things the right way. And he was just plugging holes. He's very tall. And I guess he has a bit of a high hair or like a high hair in the front because it feels like he's either wearing a hat or he has high hair. But I feel like I want to mention the top of his head. And he's a little kind of like a maverick. He gives me a real maverick energy. Like he just does whatever he wants.
Are you picturing him younger or older?
I don't know, maybe mid-age.
Okay.
He's not a little boy at all. This is a man that walks boom, boom, boom with his feet. Very arrogant.
Oh, yeah, like you wouldn't believe.
I'm 3,000 miles away and I want to run.
Yeah, it's interesting. This guy is a pistol. He's a pain in the neck. He talks about things being two ways. His way, he's like, you do it my way. And he keeps showing me wearing boots. I feel like he's stomping his foot like this. I'm stomping my foot now. All right, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a picture now. If you had to age this person, the person from Scotland that you saw, would that?
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
That's him. I don't know who this guy is, but when I saw him, his hair is darker. His hair was a bit more. I saw him younger than this.
Yeah, he was when he was here. He was younger. I mean, even when he was old, he was here too. He was,
He has.
But there's no younger pictures of him, unfortunately.
Darker hair to me, but his. Yeah, this is the guy with the face.
All right, so hold on. Let me say this because the most prominent thing you spoke about was the serpent.
Okay.
Let's talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to fire up the spirit boxes. Everything you said did have references, or could have, because there's a lot of spirits here. But the spirits here talk about an order of the serpent. And it is a group of men, a secret society, that have done sacrifices.
Oh my God.
Frank is one of those names. Led by this man.
Oh wow.
And that's why when you were like, the serpent, like deceiving on like just bringing up the order of the serpents, you're gonna pick up that like right off the bat, which is wild. The spirits that it's come across on my spirit boxes all the time back in the day, especially when I used to document here hardcore. So that's wild. Edward, his name is Edward. You're going to hear from him soon, unless he decides to be a piece of shit and not say anything, which is a possibility. He's from Scotland originally. And what's funny is you bring up the whole, like, Jaws and the whole, like, boat captain. In his history, he sailed up and down the Byram and Hudson rivers, basically accumulating his wealth, selling wares and whatnot, and also in the streets of New York City panhandling.
So I wonder if he threw someone in the river.
Oh, probably. Oh, probably. When you said
six shot, remember I said six shot?
Well, yeah, when you said when you were talking about all that, I was like, oh, that's right. When you said Scotland, I was like,
Yes. Okay, Johnny, tell me the significance of New Year's Eve.
so
What was
this
that?
so that's now I'm going to get into all this with the order of the serpents and all that.
Okay.
The spirits here speak of, and this goes into the whole Greek mythology and whatnot, speak of something called the Nexus. Okay, they call it the Nexus portal. They say it's an old, and as crazy as it sounds, they say it's an old ancient portal that formed when the Earth started rotating, as in it's tied to the Earth's magnetic field. And they said it's here. It's actually out in the driveway. According to the spirits, there's a tunnel underneath the driveway, and that goes into the horses. I'll get back into all that after. So this guy Edward and this order were supposedly sacrificing people, especially children, especially ones that were displaced during the Civil War and whatnot, and sacrificing them to this nexus for power, wealth, whatever. I don't know what they were doing, what they believed was going on. But this place was extremely toxic. Even afterwards, even decades afterwards, you talked about the fighting and the way things were. This place was bad. The woman that fell outside, when you talked about the dispute between the two people, that wasn't with the snow. That wasn't a dispute. There was an old woman here, one of the most pleasant spirits that I have ever spoke to. I knew her in life because she was still living here. She fell outside and cracked her head open, and she survived, but she ended up dying a couple months later. She survived the fall, but she bled in the driveway, and that's what woke everything up here. And that's what made this place go fucking berserk.
Wow.
And it had to do with that instant. So I was surrounded by negativity. When I mean I mean negative. Like everything here was negative. All the spirits almost were like, where they were affected by it. It was negative. And then one day I said to myself, what can I do? I have all these people watching me. What can we do to counteract all this negative shit? And I started doing what I call the battle for St. Jude. And it's when me and in my community, we get together and we raise money for St. Jude. And it was on New Year's that we started it. It was New Year's where we donated the money. And just that act alone of all of us getting together shifted this place, put the power back in my hands. And I was starting to be able to not be affected about it as much. Let's just put it this way. If this was before that New Year's, these candles would have been thrown at us already. Mirrors would have got, these mirrors here that is the second door mirror. That's original to the building, by the way. That's been shattered on live. All right. The spirits have just shattered that. Same thing. That's not an original mirror either. That went up last year. The one I had there was shattered. I'll show you the video too.
Wow.
When we're done. It used to be insane here. Now that we shifted the balance, or as the spirits say, shifted the nexus in our favor, things quieted down. The only thing that remains still vile and violent is Edward. And he comes through constantly. And I guarantee we're going to hear him come through. That's why I said,
let's hear him. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And that's why I said at the office, I apologize in advance for anything that he says.
Okay.
While Johnny sets up the voice box apps, I want to remind everyone that Cathy has officially made us question our belief system, or at least she's made me question mine. This isn't some magic trick. She's dropping symbols and specifics that would have taken weeks of research and years of watching Johnny's live feed to know. I'm excited to see what happens when the spirit boxes are on. I'm excited to see if we get any ghosts talking. I'm really excited to hear what Edward has to say if he shows up. And when I say I'm excited, I mean I'm absolutely terrified.
Witch.
The ghost just said witch, and that's going to be important later on.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Okay. Hello, spirits. Spirits. How many people are sitting in this? How many people are sitting in this room right now? I need you to speak a little clearer, please.
Am I a ghost?
Yes.
Houses. He's
Sound like I heard.
the course of
Who's this? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Cathy, and I'm a professional psychic medium. I came to sit with Johnny in this.
Down there. For each of the and so on.
Edward.
I heard someone ask, am I a ghost before?
Yeah, one of the spirits asked. One of the spirits asked if they were a ghost. That's a common thing. I want to speak to Edward.
It's to mine.
Another room.
Watching.
We're not going in another room.
Maybe he wants me in another room.
Maybe. Well, I just heard a spirit say leave here, but
Through a wire.
Kathy, does it feel different when you hear these sounds? Does it change the overall vibe of the room?
No, it feels the same to me.
Okay.
Media are at what?
no, we're not leaving here. Why do you want us to leave?
And Kathy, do you pick up the same sort of vibe from a haunting as you would an apparition in the definition of what a haunting is versus an apparition?
I think for me, apparition is actually seeing
Content.
a ghost, like seeing it in front of you. Haunting to me is more like the imprint of someone having lived their life.
Spirits, is Edward here?
Is that I'm hopeful. Down there.
Down where?
Traveled.
Leave this place.
Absolutely not.
Dude, I would be up and out.
Absolutely not. That's the voice Edward uses.
Full.
I guarantee that's Edward coming through right now telling us to leave. What's the matter, Edward? I also call him Cupcake, by the way.
Cupcake?
Yeah, I gave him a nickname. He doesn't like it very much. Right, Cupcake?
Kathy, what is your feeling on taunting spirits?
I don't agree with taunting spirits. I've just never done it.
Do you know?
Ask them questions. This is their space.
Fight for the necklace.
Fight for the nexus.
Turn it off.
You just hear what that just said? Fight for the nexus. And it just said, it just said turn it off. I agree with you, by the way. I'm not a fan of taunting spirits.
Yeah.
Edward, on the other hand, starts shit with me. So that's why
I always ask them about them or tell them that I'm here.
Educated.
I want to learn from them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I am not a fan of taunting spirits. I think it's just not something I'm about. I get a lot of shit for that, by the way.
Now.
A lot of people in the paranormal community, they're all about taunting spirits,
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Undecided.
I don't like it either. Spirits, tell us about the Nexus. It's interesting that you brought it. They said fight for the Nexus. Tell us about the Nexus. Nexus. Just said it again. Edward, I think you're a little scared, man.
Wow, that's not nice.
I want to talk.
Well, talk to us. We want to talk to you for once. I want to introduce you to my friend Cathy. She has a special gift.
I remember. Please try me.
Hello, child.
Who wants to say something to me? Tell me your name. What's your name?
Kathy, let me ask you something. Of all the cases, the readings you've done, the places you've visited, what do you think is going on here with John and his ability here to talk to spirits, and and sort of this theory of his that these are spirits are attached, their memories have been dispersed, and that's what he's dealing with, versus a being on the other side. What would you define what you're
Speak.
feeling and seeing and hearing?
I could just tell you, um, I'm validating a lot of information that is going on around him. And the information I have is what they're giving to me. So I think it's connected to him. I think if you brought in someone else, they wouldn't be having these experiences.
Hey,
Please try.
I think it's more of like what you would call an attachment.
Edward, be nice.
So what I feel is that whatever he did in his life, and I think that he has a level of psychic ability. And I feel like that started when he was probably around 10 or 11 years old. May not be aware of it. I do believe that when he started traveling on the trains, it feels more like there was spirit activity around him then. And he may have formed an attachment with spirit that maybe hasn't manifested until he's in a very infested area.
So when you use the word attachments, I mean,
It's
we've
like he's attached to the spirit.
So is it the spirit itself, or is he like, in other words, we've been saying like maybe Johnny is some sort of like, we've been using the phrase tech medium because it seems to be working through the tech somehow even stronger than, like, unlike you who could be in the room and you're getting them directly, he's getting them through the tech, or it's strengthening or heightening it. Is that, I don't know if that's possible, but is he some sort of
Nobody knows.
Well, maybe Cathy knows. Why don't you let me just ask her the question?
He just said nobody knows.
Are you saying like his connection could make him a medium in his own right?
Yeah, I believe in my life that every living person has a level of psychic ability. People may or may not embrace it.
Have you been before?
But I do feel like he has some.
Follow you.
And I feel that they're easy to connect with him because he probably does have medium qualities, but he doesn't use them like I use mine. Or maybe he doesn't believe in doing it the way I do it. So they communicate with him the only way they know how. And he's able to produce results by using these spirit boxes. But
no.
What I found out today.
Why are you here?
I'm here to talk to you. I'm here, thank you, to validate what Johnny's been going through, because I've been able to communicate with all the spirits that are connected to Johnny. And either Johnny's out on another location, these spirits are around Johnny. So Johnny is the magnet. They're magnified, or they're connected to Johnny. He's the magnet to them.
Jesus.
That's what I feel like. So I feel like if you brought in, another person, and they sat in front of the spirit box, maybe there would be activity, but they wouldn't be able to create the story around it the way he's been able to do. It would be random voices. Like when I'm sitting here, I never use equipment. I could barely make out what they're saying half the time. But he's been able to create and identify who these people are. I know you're right here. We're talking about you. So I don't know. I mean, I think me being here is really important because if anything, it validates the life he's been living. And I'm sure Johnny's life doing this can't be easy. I mean, he takes on a level of responsibility. He takes on a level of frustration. He's taking on a lot, communicating with them because, I mean, it's, I guess, a form of entertainment, but, the other side of it is, they're still validating their lives through him.
It could be a lot too. You're 100% correct.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
That's why the lady in spirit, when I was at the other location, kept sending him hearts, talking about him having love in his life, to balance it out.
It's funny you say that because I'll go to like a dark place like Buckout, and then the next day for like my noon session, I go to this beautiful cemetery that overlooks the Atlantic Ocean in Connecticut.
There's three.
There is three of them, but this one is the best spot to do it.
No,
And
Johnny, sorry, hold on. There's three. We talked about this triangle before.
That's right.
Yeah. But that could
Who are
also
the
be the cemetery I'm talking about has three different levels. One spot
Oh, wow.
overlooks the headstones and then the Atlantic Ocean. It is the most peaceful place you can go.
Wow.
And like detox yourself.
Yeah.
As far as like
Have we met?
No, not yet. I just came here to meet you. Would you
You
like
are
to
the only
tell me
person on
something?
earth. You're the only person on earth I know who would go to detox at a cemetery, by the way.
Yeah.
We have a very different definition of what it means to detox and relax. I'm more about like, resorts, pools, drink cocktails.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Maybe
the last
roll
place.
up a fatty, crack open a monster, and look out at the water.
Oh my God.
Wow. But I do think, Gary, that this
Yes.
having me here validates the spirits that he's been experiencing.
I do too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's there's
without
something.
the spirit boxes and all of that, just flat out,
It's good to have a corroborating witness who feels the same things that we're hearing.
Yeah. Well, I like that I was able to get so much stuff without any spirit boxes, just coming in flat,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
when you picked up on the whole serpent, I was like, whoa. Like, that's wild. Because that is something that has been spoken about in the past and at great length.
Wow.
So the history here is in depth. There is a lot. There is a lot. And this place has seen so many people, so many faces. It had a lot of death.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but the whole serpent thing, that's the most wild.
Don't leave me.
Oh, I'm leaving soon.
Oh my gosh.
But that was
It's crazy, right? Like how clear and like
It is very clear. I know.
Louder.
yeah, it was loud. So that was actually the turning point for me. Not documenting down here was my daughter.
Give it back.
My wife came down here with my daughter one time. I was live.
Stop recording.
No, we're not going to stop recording. So she came down here and also
Give it back.
Edward started talking to her.
Oh.
And, it was really creepy. And I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
I was like, I'm done with this place. I did it for 3 years. I documented it. I got all the information I'm going to get. I was like, I don't want something that vile speaking to my daughter.
What was he saying?
He was like, hello, little girl. How are you?
Oh, wow.
What are you doing? It was the tone. Everything was just so creepy.
Wow.
It was like,
Not.
yes, you were. Don't even, Edward.
Yes.
See, even that spirit saying it. And even, right there, even another spirit was like, yes, that happened. He's saying no. And the other spirit's like, yes.
Wow.
Because the other spirits here don't like Edward either. I mean, obviously.
So, Edward, why did you do that?
Yeah, Edward, we're not on TikTok. We could fully talk about that right now.
Why don't you talk to me now?
Don't be shy about it. You're proud about the things you've done.
Am I a ghost?
I don't know. Are you?
Is he being extremely quiet because I'm here?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I also have another theory too, because it's not just you. Like, if I have somebody with me, and I believe this has to do with my magnetic field, they don't talk as much. It's the weirdest thing. Like, if I can have another random person here who has nothing to do with anything, they'll still clamp down. They'll talk a little bit, but not as much as normally if I'm just sitting here by myself. And I think that has something to do with my magnetic fields.
What does that mean, your magnetic fields?
So you know how people talk about, oh, your energy, your
Yeah.
energy, your energy. The only energy we really do have scientifically is our magnetic field. We permeate a magnetic field
Rest in peace.
4 to 7 feet.
These two are talking about magnetic fields while a disembodied voice says to rest in peace. I mean, what the. What?
Magnetic field. So you're.
I want you to go.
So you're. We understand
Whoa.
that. We're not going to be here too long, Spirit. So look, listen.
Why did you come?
We came to
Ooh,
talk to
wait.
you.
Why did you come?
Yeah, we came
It
to talk to
was-
you. But listen, it's funny, I got bit by a tick. I had a tick a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know this. I'm extremely allergic to tick bites. I had no idea, so I had to go to the doctor because I just wasn't feeling right. And I pulled the tick out myself. It wasn't in there long. It didn't have to be in there long. I just had an allergic reaction to it. I still have the wound on my
Have you
stomach.
been before?
And it's healing horribly, and that's because I'm allergic to it. And anyway, I go and I get my blood pressure taken. Now, I smoke cigarettes. I drink energy drinks. I do it healthy, but I eat a lot.
Yeah, you're a picture of health.
Okay, I am not a picture of health. I am like horribly unhealthy. I go get my blood pressure done. Fucking get it. The reading comes back. They took it twice. They could not believe how good my blood pressure was for someone my size and my history, and be having an allergic reaction to this tick and the way I was. Wow. They couldn't believe it. And I was like, and I joked around. I was like, yeah, I got a strong magnetic field because it permeates from my heart.
Yeah.
And it's wild. Like, it makes no sense. So there are things that make no sense. When I should have horrible blood pressure. My blood pressure should be through the roof, and it's not. It's wild. But anyway, that's what I believe. And so when I'm with people, this gets nulled down a little bit because of other magnetic fields in the room.
Yeah, I think one of the important points, Gary, is that since he's alone a lot doing this, and they're communicating a lot when he's alone, to bring me in without the boxes to validate that's to me like
I remember
the
you.
best, because
Dig.
he really has experienced this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it.
No, that's the best way to explain it. The fact that we didn't have anything up and running. Listen, she knows nothing. She knew nothing about this place.
Yeah.
She literally knew nothing. The fact that she brought up Edward, brought up the fact that he was, Scottish, the fact that she brought up the serpent. I mean, my followers that have been watching me for years now, when they go and they actually watch this, they're going to be like, holy shit, how does she pick up on the serpents?
Who was that?
It not only validates everything that I've been dealing with, but your abilities as well.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna say, and I said this to you before, I think that most people that claim to be mediums, psychics, and have gifts are full of shit. I don't think they're the real deal. You, however, have proven yourself a lot, and I appreciate you coming and doing this for us and for this podcast.
Believe me, not like you had to prove anything to the two of us. We're nobody, but it's like,
but
exactly. It really was.
I appreciate you taking
it was
the time
really
and
just
doing this.
I've been blown away by it. It certainly makes me question a great many things. And I'm very glad I'm not in that room. I don't know if I could be in that room.
But you will be soon.
I will come down there and do it. Yeah, man. Listen, again, thank you, Cathy. I appreciate it. I don't think we want to keep you too much longer here. I think we've got everything we need to get.
Why are you here?
Oh, he keeps asking why you're here.
I know. He wants to know why I'm here.
Yeah. Why are you scared? Did she scare you, Edward?
Confused.
Spirit's confused. What's the matter? A strong, powerful woman scares you, Edward?
Run now.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Run now.
Run.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
I guess you figured out who I was. Do they know I'm a witch?
You know what's funny? I was going to ask you about that because the first thing I heard when I fired up Vox was, why is there a witch here?
Oh, wow. Yeah, well,
Did you forget that I told you to remember where it said witch back at the beginning? Well, go back and listen to it again if you did.
I want to.
Not you, Edward. Listen, Gary, when I get up to turn on the spirit boxes, the first thing you're going to hear, and it's probably going to be light because I don't know if I had the speaker hooked up to it yet.
Candle.
But you'll probably hear something about a witch. Oh, shit. Usually when they bring up candles, that means, well, it's like I'm flying. As we all watch the back. I can't tell you how many times I've knocked candles off this.
Oh, wow.
I've got videos on YouTube where like it's like we're boom, 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 boom.
Are you going to move a candle for us?
Why are you here?
Well, I'm here to talk to Johnny, and I think it's a perfect timing because the last couple of days we had a full moon. And, you know, there's a lot of power with a full moon. So I figured it was a perfect time to talk with you.
That reminds me, I've got a case of water on the roof. I put a case of water.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
I got a whole case of water up on the
Moon water, yeah.
water.
I asked AI what's up with moon water. Apparently, it's made by placing water outside under the moonlight during a specific lunar phase, and it can be used in a variety of spiritual practices, including cleansing, healing, empowering spells and rituals, enhancing intuition, and even psychic abilities. It is also said to make your skin glow, which I assume means like how a pregnant lady is glowing, not literally like you're glowing.
Yeah.
I told him.
What'd you tell him? And who'd you tell?
Why are you
Like,
whispering?
You're like, what is happening?
Well, because I'm telling him how to fix the room.
Run now.
They keep wanting me to leave.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna leave when she's ready.
They know you're wrapping it up, so they're
Yeah.
like, get her out of here. Did you hear a name Sal down here?
So, you know, it's funny because there is a Sal, there's a Dominic, a Sal, and a Brian, and they're all related and they all have to do with this place. But yeah,
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sure. After your time, Edward, it was a tenant that was
Come inside.
Yeah.
It was. This place has seen a lot of tenants, but it was one of the tenants that
Sal is so clear to me.
Yeah.
Did you know Sal?
No.
Oh.
No. Yeah, and what's crazy, the only reason why I know that these people ever even existed, other than the spirits, is that some of their names are still on the doors by the doorbells, and sometimes they still get mail.
Oh wow!
You know, like the dead still get mail. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, a piece of mail will come in and it'll just be left on the box, and I'm like,
Are you scared?
what was this?
No, I'm not actually. I'm not scared of you.
I am scared. Yes. The answer is yes. I am absolutely scared. 100%.
Psychic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! You know who I am. Thank you.
And that's one thing, and you probably agree. The last thing you want to do is have fear while you do this.
Oh, I don't have fear.
You can't have fear
because I'm always protected.
Yeah. Fear will feed.
So what else do you know about me? Tell me other things I've done in my life if you know I'm a psychic.
You can speak.
When you were talking about that cemetery in Connecticut, I don't know it, but is there like a what do you call that tree? A weeping willow? Where is the weeping willow that you've been around? Because I keep seeing this weeping willow. Do you know a weeping willow tree?
Yep, I know weeping willow.
Why am I here?
Where is that tree to you?
The only weeping willow tree that has any significance to me is in a park that's in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Why do you go to that park?
The only time I go to that park for any of this is there's an old pre-Revolutionary War cottage on the property.
Oh.
And I've also tried to get into the Girl Scout house too, but because the Girl Scout house is
Explain yourself. Don't just say you're trying to get into the Girl Scout house on camera. Like, you have to explain why.
The Girl Scout house on the park property is haunted as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah. So
where's a Girl Scout house?
It's a park called Lions Park.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And what's funny is that it's and now it's really funny that you said that cemetery in Connecticut first, because the people that owned that property that park is on, their family is buried at that cemetery.
Oh my God, that's incredible! Oh
Yeah.
my God,
They're buried at that cemetery.
that is really incredible. That I went from
Blood for the Nexus.
Oh,
Ooh.
did you hear that one?
Oh my God,
I heard Nexus.
Yeah, they just said blood for the Nexus.
Wow. But I find that really interesting that I got all that connection from the weeping willow tree.
Yep.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's warm.
It's warm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But see, that's the spirit chatter I'm talking about that you'll get here randomly. They'll talk about the Nexus and blood for the Nexus and things like that. Almost like, I don't know if they're asking for it. And it's
I'm leaving.
I don't blame you, spirit. And it's something asking for it, or if it's like they're just saying, hey, this is what happens. Very, very interesting.
Mm.
What's also really interesting is that was not Edward that said blood for the Nexus. That was a
John is an asshole.
You know what,
Oh.
Edward? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? This is why? Because I said that wasn't you that said that? This is what I deal with him. And that's the thing. He comes off funny. He comes off cunning. He comes off all these things. But in reality, he was a really bad guy. You know?
So why did you just say that? Why did you call John that name? You know why you did it. Why don't you tell us?
No explanation?
Do you know?
Well, that's why we're asking.
Yeah, well, John.
Disgusting.
Well, he is
Oh,
disgusting.
yeah.
That is very true, Spirit. What's your name, Spirit?
Grave.
Spirit that just said disgusting. What is your name?
He has like a British accent.
Why is he here?
Why is
Me?
Yeah, maybe.
Gary's on the TV.
Agreed.
Well, because what's interesting.
He agrees.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes, they know about you, Gary.
Great.
Which is why.
Jacket.
So you want me to get my jacket on? You're telling me to leave
Have
again?
you been before?
Have we been where before? Here? This is her first time here.
Edward, I'm going to plan with Johnny on how to kill you. That's going to be one of our next things is we're going to kill Edward.
We're going to dissipate the spirit.
We're going to dissipate that spirit. We're going to test that theory.
There's theories that you can dismantle a spirit using magnets. And we're going to test that out if it's possible. Now, I personally don't think you can. I think you can remove a spirit from theoretical spirit particles if they exist. It'll end up reforming again. It'll end up coming right back. But for the time being, you can separate it. I don't know if we can fully kill it as like a second death type thing. But we're going to see what it does. We're going to see if it's possible. My theory on it is that it's just going to dissipate the spirit for a bit. I think it's going to end up coming right back.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just...
It's an imprint.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Right? Why are you still there? Why are you guys still in that room?
I don't know.
Stroke.
Stroke.
I just like certain things that are like oddities, but also come up as evidential.
Mhm.
Like for the fact that he said that he watches him in that other room and that he was working with hammer and nails. Like that to me is evidential.
What should I do?
That he actually, spirit actually was like watching him,
Right.
and I find that's why I find this all very interesting, because he actually brought that through, that he was actually watching him. So that to me in itself has a really different creep level. It's one thing to think that spirit's around, but the fact that he says that he was watching him working, that's like really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely.
That's creepy.
And just to be clear, it's all creepy.
It is all creepy. I know. I know, but
It's
that's, you know,
next
Once you,
level
and I'm sure
creepy.
you
there's
can agree.
different levels of creep, right?
There's different levels
Yeah.
of creepiness, and once you've done this for so long, it just doesn't seem like it anymore. Like you'll hear
There's
things.
different levels of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Over
yeah.
here.
You just get so
Yeah.
used to it.
Well, I was holding that noose, like, you know, you gave me like.
Yeah, I
you know,
gave. Yeah,
you
well, that's why I
gave me,
said to you, hey, if you got to throw this thing away, throw it. You know, the
yeah, I
second
was fine with it.
Yeah.
I have, there's only a couple of times in my life that I came across something where literally I felt it was a very, I won't talk about it, but it was a very evil situation. And I literally felt the energy from the ground travel up my legs to my stomach.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was like, boom. I was like, this is no good.
Yeah.
Like, I am not going further with that.
Yeah. It reminds me of that story about that doll that they found in the Adirondacks, I think it was. Supposedly they found like a voodoo doll in a cave.
20.
And they
Believe me?
yeah, and they took it, and it was in like a museum with a bunch of other haunted objects, but it kept getting like people sick, and they ended up having to take it back to where they found it, and they dismantled it and took it apart. It was like there was a whole special
Oh,
on it.
wow. Yeah, I don't know about that.
And I'm like, oh, I would have take the doll. I would have taken it. I would have taken it.
But you know,
I'm pretty sure that's a Brady Bunch episode where they go to Hawaii.
In living life, you've probably
20.
met some people that you thought, oh, I'm glad I am never going to see you
Yes.
again.
Oh,
You know?
100%.
And it's that feeling that you
Yes.
say, like, okay, you're a bad dude. You
Yeah.
know, it's like you see.
Oh, I could tell somebody. Oh, yeah.
In CVS, and there could be a bad dude in front of you or behind you, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get away from this person. Like, and they could
Yeah.
be the best person in the world, but what they kind of elude from their body is this energy that it's like, wow, I don't want to be in your space.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Above.
I can usually, well, most of the time, if someone's eluding that energy, they're,
Oh, wow.
oh, shit.
What the hell is that?
Something just threw the pamphlet. I have the
Oh,
pamphlets.
yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah, it looks. Well, there was a couple of them up there. That got caught.
I
That got
saw it.
caught on the
That
recording.
is
I do
crazy.
have it on the
somebody just
recording.
threw the pamphlet.
Did you see that?
I sure did.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And
Something
I'll
just threw
I'll
the
be
pamphlet.
rewinding that and seeing what that was.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
How wild is that?
My nephew has a planchette, those things for Ouija boards that you move around over the letters and words, decoratively hanging up in the background, and it just fell to the ground. For no reason. No one was moving, no one was shaking, it just fell.
But we're talking about someone being a bad dude.
Dude, and then
And who's the bad dude? The guy I was talking about.
He just said
before.
grandmother.
yeah, it just said grandmother too.
Gary, you broke 2.
Gary, you what?
He called you broke. He said, Gary, you're broke too.
Uncle.
Oh,
Oh, wow, he knows you're the uncle. Oh, my
Johnny,
God.
Johnny,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
who did we tell him I was?
That's right.
Oregon.
That's right. To test our theory, I said you were my. So we told the little version of him that he was my brother.
We did not tell
Now let's
him.
pick it up in here a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh? Crazy, right?
We did not
God.
tell. We did not tell him I was your uncle. We told
No.
him I was your brother,
Yeah. But we told the little
the
version.
little
right?
one, the
Yeah.
younger version.
Yeah, and he knew. He straight up was like, nope,
This.
that wild, bro, wild.
Wow.
Oh man, Edward, he's such a piece of garbage too. It's not even
Well,
funny.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that is wild. So wild.
Well, they haven't said anything about me other than me being psychic.
Yeah.
Isn't that? What do you mean? Other than you being psychic, it's sort of new. To me, that's a huge thing. It's like they know you're a psychic. That's not to me. That's not random.
I
You don't
told
just-
them that in the beginning, though.
But even more of a reason, though, right?
That's
like
true.
it's
That's true.
like
That's
it's
true.
it's not like they said, oh, you're a baker. They like called you what you were.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious to see how.
Please come back.
Oh,
Oh, wow. You want me to come back? Why do you like me now?
Okay.
Sacrifice.
oh, yo,
Yo,
Edward.
that is not cool.
Edward, you are not going to sacrifice her. All right, your time of sacrificing is over with, my friend.
Wow.
That is done with. You're done with all that. Now you get to sit here while I make money on TikTok and it pisses you off.
He thinks he's so powerful.
He does.
That's amazing.
He's a very pompous. Well, I think he comes through the strongest because of his sacrifices.
Satan.
Oh yeah, because of Satan. Sure. I think that's what I think the deal is.
9.
You know,
Wow.
that's why he comes. And there are some other spirits that will, like Barbara, will come through every now and then.
What do I do?
Spirits, you can do whatever you want as long as it's not bad. Wow, that's wild. I honestly didn't think something was going to get thrown in here today. So that was pretty cool that happened.
Wow.
You know?
We also have a very different definition of what cool is.
yeah, I guess we do.
Gary, you broke 2.
Yeah, he thinks, yo, Edward, why do you think Gary's broke?
Look, I'm not really working right now. It's
Disgusting.
not like technically, I guess I'm not, rolling in the cash, but I'm not
we don't
broke,
have your
dude.
type. We don't have your type of money.
19.
19, he could be talking about or talking to one of the hospital spirits.
Oh, wow.
Real.
Just sometimes we get that too. I'll get spirits that'll come through and be
wow.
like, oh, I was sick. I had a fever, things like that. And
wow.
they're just, So this was fun.
The thing with the thing, the thing I have
Sure
to
was.
say, when that thing fell, we were not talking. I find this is actually a good experiment, but we were talking about energy.
Yeah.
And I was telling you about something that had happened to me. And we were saying, there's a bad dude on the line at CBS. Had we ignored that,
Mm-hmm.
we were just having our own conversation.
Huh?
And they wanted us to remember, hey, we're here.
And that's the way it always goes.
That's amazing.
And it's wild. And it's funny. It's funny you bring that up because on TikTok, what I am known for more than anything is ignoring spirits. I am very well known in the paranormal community where I'll completely stop talking to the spirits and just talk to my community. And then things will start happening and popping off. And
They're here.
It's like, oh yeah, they're here. They're
Yeah.
here. But I'm not paying attention to them. I'm going to pay attention to my community right now.
Well, the timing of it was amazing because we were just having this, on the line in CBS, and then that thing went off.
Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
Very crazy.
Oh my God.
Very crazy.
Well,
Nexus, Nexus, Nexus.
Nexus. We're speaking about the Nexus. Isn't that wild?
she repeated it 3 times.
Mhm.
3.
What do I do?
Did you hear that, Gary?
I heard it. I've been hearing it. I can't unhear it, Cathy. I cannot unhear it. After that, we didn't get much more with Cathy. We said our goodbyes and my nephew walked her out. Oh, shit, he's coming back. Never mind. Now that she's not here, tell me how you really felt about the reading.
So I personally feel she was at the office. She was picking up all the spirits at the office. I don't think that any of the spirits that she was picking up on had anything to do with me. For the most part, anyway. All right. Mostly the names she was dropping, it all had to do with the 1900s factory. And then when she was down here, I mean,
Stephen.
come on, of all the countries you're going to pick Scotland. Like, she nailed Edward.
Right? Dude, when she did my reading, she was saying a lot of stuff that was, I didn't get or I didn't understand. But when she was specific, it was oddly specific and
Yes.
her almost on point specific. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about what our whole point here and what we're trying to do. When you have someone like that from the outside, where does that? What do we think that means? What do we think it means that she's?
So, for example,
what does it mean to you? Yeah.
So what it means to me is regardless, she's picking up on all of these things. She could be picking up on the memories. Like, it doesn't disprove it. It doesn't prove it. The memory theory, anyway. It just proves that she's picking up on something that I've already, documented from an outside source, like she said, because she even said that in when she was here. It doesn't prove or disprove the memory theory. It just solidifies that
No.
there's something there.
Based on the definitions of what we've been playing with, apparition, hauntings, poltergeist, that we are actually dealing with apparitions. Because if we are dealing with hauntings, they wouldn't interact. They are
Yeah.
imprints that wouldn't interact. So her being there, then I would say makes them apparitions. It puts us in that lane. And then the idea that you're some sort of AI where you are taking hauntings and bringing them to life, like we had talked about our guest, is not the case. You're actually talking to apparitions, right? If using just her
Follow
right now,
you.
that means that's what that would tell me. Like that haunting theory and that you're sort of bringing this to life is not the case. You're actually communicating with apparitions that are there. She's now felt them. They try to reach out to her. They're giving her direct messages. That's different.
No.
Then that thing fell off the wall. I mean, the whole thing. And then
that was, once that happened, I will say this, once that happened, her entire energy changed. She went from like, oh yeah, everywhere is haunted. This is what I do, to, oh wow, this is one of those types of places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was great. We were talking about it outside.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Did anything change for you and your thoughts based on sitting with someone like Cathy?
No.
Well, you've always been skeptical of mediums and psychics. So
I've always been skeptic. I do know they exist, but I do know that majority of them are full of shit. Cathy, however, is not. There is something going on there. She has some sort of gift.
Well, it seems to me like, dude, you may have a gift.
Maybe.
I mean,
I
mean, if an app could talk to the dead, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
So it's like people are trying it, they're not doing it. So there's, one thing she said though too about you, right? Like you are this magnet.
Well, I agree with, because I've always theoretically said that my magnetic field affects the spirits. That's what gets them to talk. That's my theory. That's what I say on TikTok all the time.
So, I mean, with that said, it could be possible that there's no spirits at the cemetery, except when you're at the cemetery, they're there for you. And then, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're a medium in and of itself.
Maybe.
Could you imagine? Look at you. You're just a ghost magnet. You're like a straight up supernatural silo lightning rod for ghosts.
Is that crazy?
It is wonderfully
what
crazy.
Kind of bizarre world we live in, dude.
I don't know, man, but these past few hours with Cathy were crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to make of all this.
Yeah,
I know this. I don't like the fact that the ghosts are now knowing my name. Not loving that. Not loving it.
But it makes sense. They learn. And as long as you stimulate that, they will remember. And this is not your first time here via the call.
Dude.
It's technically your fourth time, right?
Oh, it's a few times. Yeah.
It's been a few times.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Oh, wow. All right, dude. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
All right,
and
you
we'll
too,
talk
Uncle
soon.
Gary. Love you.
All right,
Send
dude.
love to the family.
Love you too, bro.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you, man. Now it's really the end. Thanks for listening to Splintered Spirits with me, Gary, and my nephew, Johnny. You can watch Johnny live on TikTok at Santa Paranormal. We want to once again thank Cathy Nadal for joining us. We may not be closer to knowing what ghosts are, but if we are to accept Cathy's professional analysis, we might be closer to understanding what Johnny is, in that he may be a medium himself, a true conduit into whatever space these spirits are residing in. You can find Cathy on Instagram at CatWitchNYC, and her books can be found on Amazon. See you next time.